My name is Evelyn. I am 16 years old, and I live in a small town surrounded by quiet hills and long, dusty roads. Every morning, I walk to school with heavy books in my bag and heavier thoughts in my mind. I am not a bright student like others in my class. I try hard to study, but no matter how much I try, I can never remember things like formulas or long paragraphs. My teachers always tell me to focus more, but I don't know why. No matter how much I try, my mind just refuses to listen. Sometimes, when I see other students answering questions so easily, I feel small. I feel like I don't belong in that class, as if everyone else is moving forward while I'm stuck in the same place. My parents are good people, but they often get angry at me because of my poor marks. My mother says, "Evelyn, why can't you study like others?" And my father sighs, shaking his head. I try to study after dinner, but the words in my book seem to dance and fade before my eyes. Slowly, I stopped trying. I began to believe that maybe I'm just not good enough. I often sat by my window at night, watching the moonlight fall on the old mango tree in our yard. I would think about my future. What will I become? Everyone around me seemed to know their path, but I had none. I felt lost, like walking on a road that has no end. At school, there was one person who always noticed me, my teacher, Mrs. Laura. She taught literature, but more than that, she taught us about life. She was a woman with calm eyes and a soft voice. She never shouted at anyone, even when we made mistakes. One day, after class, she called me to her desk and said, "Evelyn, can we talk for a while?" I nodded nervously. She smiled gently and said, "I've noticed something about you. You look sad most of the time. Is something bothering you?" I hesitated, but then all my thoughts came rushing out. I told her everything. How my parents scolded me. How I always failed in my exams. How I felt worthless when I compared myself to others. My voice broke when I said, "I don't think I'm good at anything." Mrs. Laura listened quietly. She didn't interrupt me once. When I finished, she smiled softly and said, "Evelyn, every child is born with a different gift. Some are good at studies, some are good at sports, and some have other talents hidden deep inside them. The problem is, we keep comparing ourselves with others and forget to look inside." Her words touched me deeply, but I didn't really understand what she meant. She continued, "You think you are not good at anything because you're looking at yourself through the eyes of others. Try to look within yourself, Evelyn. There's something beautiful waiting to be seen. I wanted to believe her, but I was scared. I asked softly, but what if I don't have any talent? What if I'm really not good at anything? She smiled and said, then that would mean I don't know my students well. And I know you, Evelyn. You're special. You just haven't found what makes you shine yet. From that day on, Mrs. Laura started paying more attention to me. She would often talk to me after class and ask about my day, my feelings, my thoughts. Slowly, I began to feel comfortable around her. She was the first person who didn't make me feel small for not being good in studies. A few weeks later, our school arranged a cultural program. There was a dance performance being prepared, and Mrs. Laura was one of the teachers guiding the participants. One afternoon, while walking past the hall, I saw the students practicing. The music played softly, and something inside me moved. I had always loved dancing when I was little, but I stopped because my parents thought it was a waste of time. Without thinking, I started moving my feet slowly to the rhythm. I didn't notice Mrs. Laura standing behind me. When the music stopped, she said, "Evelyn, that was beautiful." I turned around, startled. I wasn't doing it seriously, I said shyly. But she smiled warmly. No, Evelyn. You were dancing with your heart. Have you ever thought about learning dance properly? I looked at her with wide eyes. Me? But I'm not that good. I've never learned it before. She shook her head. You don't always need training to be good at something. Some things come from the soul, and I saw that in you. Her words made my heart flutter. For the first time in my life, someone said I was good at something. That night, I stood in front of the mirror at home and tried dancing again. I didn't care if it looked perfect. I just felt happy. The next day, Mrs. Laura told me to join the dance team for the school program. At first, I was scared, but she encouraged me. Evelyn, don't let fear stop you. You have something beautiful in you, let the world see it. With her words echoing in my heart, I practiced every day. I fell, made mistakes, but she was always there to guide me. She didn't only teach me steps, she taught me to believe in myself. When the day of the program arrived, my hands were shaking. I could hear the crowd talking and laughing. I wanted to run away, but Mrs. Laura placed her hand on my shoulder and said, Evelyn, just close your eyes and dance like no one is watching. When the music began, I did exactly that. I danced freely, forgetting everything, my failures, my fears, my doubts. When the music stopped, the hall was silent for a moment and then filled with applause. People were cheering for me. My parents were in the audience, their eyes wide with surprise and pride. After the show, Mrs. Laura came to me with a big smile. "See, I told you. You were born to dance." That day changed my life. My parents talked to Mrs. Laura, and she explained to them that not every child needs to follow the same path. "Your daughter has a gift," she told them. "Let her walk her own journey." At first, my parents were unsure, but later they agreed. They started supporting me. My father even bought me a pair of dance shoes. For the first time, I felt free. I was walking on a path that truly felt mine. Mrs. Laura continued to guide me even after school hours. She helped me find dance classes and introduced me to professionals who could train me better. Sometimes I still doubted myself, but whenever I did, I remembered her words, "Don't compare yourself with others. Look within yourself." Years passed. I kept dancing, learning, growing. My journey wasn't easy. There were times I wanted to give up. There were days I cried because I felt lost again. But then I would remember that teacher who saw a spark in me when I saw only darkness. Now, when I look back, I realize that my journey truly felt like it had no end, because I kept searching for myself in others. I was running in circles, comparing, competing, feeling less. But when I finally looked within, I found a road that led me to peace and purpose. One evening, after winning my first small dance competition, I called Mrs. Laura to tell her. She was proud, but she only said one thing that made me tear up. "Evelyn, I didn't create your strength. I just helped you see it." And she was right. Sometimes, we all need someone to remind us that we are enough, that our path might be different, but still beautiful. Today, I still walk that path. The journey hasn't ended, it probably never will, but now, I no longer fear it. Because I know who I am. I am Evelyn, and I am a dancer. I have learned something very important in my life, something I wish someone had told me earlier. I learned that it's okay to be different. It's okay to take time to find your path. I used to think that if I wasn't good at studies, or if I didn't do things like everyone else, then I had no worth. But now I know that every person has their own kind of strength, their own kind of light. Some people shine in classrooms, Some shine on stages, and some shine quietly in ways no one else can see. For a long time, I compared myself to others. I thought I was less, but that was only because I was looking at myself through their eyes, not my own. My teacher taught me that the moment you start believing in yourself, the world around you begins to change. You start seeing beauty even in your small steps forward. It was my teacher who encouraged me and guided me when I was lost. May God bless every student in this world with a teacher like Mrs. Laura. Life is not a race, it's a journey. And sometimes, that journey feels endless, full of confusion, pain, and doubt. But even if the road feels long, it doesn't mean you're lost. It just means you're still discovering who you are meant to be. So if you ever feel lost like I once did, please remember this. Don't compare your path with anyone else's. Don't think you are less because you move slower. Look inside yourself and ask, what makes my heart come alive? That's where your strength lies. You don't have to be the best in everything. You just have to be true to who you are. Find that one thing that makes your soul light up, and follow it, no matter how small it seems. Because even a small spark, if protected with care, can become a light bright enough to guide your whole life. So, to anyone who feels lost in their journey, I want to say this: you are not behind. You are not broken. You are not a failure. You are simply unfolding. Believe in your journey, even when it feels slow. Believe in your heart, even when the world doubts you. I was once a girl who thought she could do nothing. But now, I am a girl who dances with all her heart. And if I can find my way, so can you. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thank you so much for listening to my story.